Hello out there. It's me, Brianna, and you're listening to No Limits, a PlayStation podcast. Today we'll be chatting about The Last of Us 3 rumors, the God of War TV show, and more. See you after the intro. Welcome back from the intro. What a jam. I still love it.
Always good.
Today I am again joined by Will and Nick from Friday Night Gamecast.
We made it back.
You thought you
You're
could get rid
so
of us that
good.
easy.
Yeah,
no, it's us.
Here's what really happened is I actually got rid of all of the other co-hosts.
They're
I
dead.
was like
They're dead.
Nil and Wick. Oh my god, I can't even say it. Oh my god, Will and Nick are like so much better than you guys that like
sorry Sam, sorry Taylor.
But
shout out to y'all
the
though.
caveat is you guys do have to figure out British accent because I can't.
I can do that.
Don't
I
tell
got
Nick
that.
to do an
I
accent.
got that.
Don't
What
tell
do you
Nick
mean?
to do
I'll
an
do this
so
whole
scared
show
right
with a British
now.
accent. Don't play
I'm
with me
so
right now. I
scared
will
right
do
now.
it.
You've opened the Pandora's box.
Out of respect for our president Brit, Sam, I will refrain.
Okay,
Yes,
I
no.
appreciate that. I don't
And
know
my
if you guys watched the
eardrums
episode
respect
that Ethan pretended to be Sam for a little bit. It was terrible. It was like so good, but like terrible. I was like, oh no. Yeah, I keep trying to convince Sam to do an American accent, but I don't lean too hard into it because I realize that if he does that, he's gonna make me do a British accent, and I can't.
Oh.
So I'm trying to really figure out the line of like how do I convince him to do an American accent without doing the British accent myself, you know? So just a little insight there. We'll figure it out one day, but
I say that you start speaking in a southern accent, like an aggressively southern accent, and
Okay.
get Taylor to do it too. And then that way Sam will feel left out and so he just has to copy you guys.
Whoa.
You know what I mean?
That is genius.
Big
I think
brain,
he
big
listens.
brain.
Absolutely.
That's what we pay
Genius.
for. That's what we pay for over here.
Watch this be the one episode that Sam doesn't listen to. No one tell him. No one tell him.
Yeah, nobody's
Okay.
secret guys.
It's super secret. Okay. Remember, you guys can find the video version of this podcast over at youtube.com/SaveTheGameMedia. Every Tuesday, while you're over there, please make sure to subscribe to Save the Game Media. If you'd rather listen to audio, we are on some of your podcast services, most of them, if not all. You can always follow us there. We would love if you could leave us a review. The reviews are always super fun to read, and it also helps us grow. If you do want to support us and get early access to all of the Save the Game Media content, as well as some exclusives, you can head over to patreon.com/SaveTheGameMedia and choose the tier that works best for you. Just like our current patrons, we've got Bucky Blue, Hopple, Alpaca Tom, Amon, Fabulous Brianna, Brianna's mom, Brianna's brother, Brianna's wife, Anna Hudak, Nikolai at Night, Cypher Primus, Brendan Myers, Marcus O'Neill, Lillian, Mimi J, and the Snack Network.
Brianna, can I ask who your wife is canonically in this Save the Game Media? Who is it?
It's not Save the Game Media. It's actually from my real life.
Oh,
I
perfect.
have a canonical wife.
You have a canonical wife. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so my wife is actually my little brother's girlfriend.
Perfect. That checks out. That sounds exactly like an anime situation, like a light novel anime, like my little brother's girlfriend is my wife type situation. Okay.
Yeah, no. So what happened was basically, so we were all at a pool together, but it was like at night, and it's my ex stepdad, but stepdad, it doesn't matter. Stepdad's apartment complex. We were all hanging out at the pool, but it was nighttime, and she wanted to go get a towel because she was like, yo, we forgot the towels, like we need to go get them from the car. My little brother was like, I'm not going to the car with you, and I was like, I'm not letting a girl walk alone at night in a bikini to a car. So we're not married. So yeah, that's how we started
exactly
dating,
how it works.
and then we got married after that. Yeah.
You tell me I could have skipped the ring. All I had to do was walk at night with her into a car. I did it all wrong. I did it way too wrong.
Yeah, dude, you got goofed.
Yeah, so that's how I ended up with a wife. Just by happenstance, I guess.
That's great. That's great.
Anyways, how are you guys? What have you been playing recently? All of that stuff. I can get rid of this note about Forspoken.
We did that last week.
We did that last week.
But I did play that, so I guess I could hop into that.
Did?
Yeah, so after we had that time last week, I had a chance to play the Forspoken demo, and I gotta say, I mean, I can't tell if I find myself in the minority or if my certain sect of Twitter is just like hating on it, but I actually had a pretty good time. I came in like initially, oh man, here's like a big empty open world. Oh, these characters talk too much. I don't really know how it all works, but I played for maybe hour and a half, hour 45. By the time I got to the end, the combat was flowing very well. I was able to switch between the different magics and even switching between Freya's magic. And I think it was someone with S. I don't know if it was Salim or who was magic with the flame.
I know
magic.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, but switching between the two magics wasn't that bad. The characters interacting with actually, people are gonna probably slaughter me out there, but it was so funny to me. They were getting into certain situations, finding yourself in this kind of, is it Nick? I think it's isekai, where it's like, someone in a normal world finding yourself in a fan. There you go.
Yeah.
So she was like running around, and a big crocodile with like a bunch of crazy fangs and anime looking crocodile goes to attack, and she's like, "What the F is this?" And I'm just like, it just seems so out of place in like this high fantasy world. This chick just cursing, talking to her bangles. So I don't know. I loved it. I had a blast playing through the whole time.
Did you get to paint your nails at all?
Yeah, I switched up the nail a little bit. I switched the nails up, so that looked really cool. The overall outfit that you get to wear, and you can switch between the different clothes to affect her magic. That looked really good too. Honestly, I liked every part of it that I really played through. I am interested to see it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I read that they made the demo specifically to show off, combat and certain side quests and things. So that's why it looks very kind of like open, empty, samey. So I'm hoping if you play the main game, it'll be more like places you can go visit and see other NPCs and real life people versus just enemies in an open field. But everything I played so far, I mean, I enjoyed it. I think I am leaning towards getting it. Probably not necessarily a $70 off the rip for me, just because I got a lot of stuff in my backlog. But the second I see a sale,
there's so
I'm
many
gonna hop
drops
on it.
in that week too. There's like 2 or 3
Yes.
games coming out that week.
Q1 of 2023 is gonna be nuts.
There's definitely going to be a spring or summer sale, and it's going to drop. We know how Square Enix does.
Yeah, I really did. I've been seeing a lot of people hate on Forspoken as well, so I don't know if it's just but yeah, it's like, I thought it was pretty good. It felt like a beta, but it was a beta. Like it was exactly what they said it would be. Like, I understand that the game is coming out like in a month now, just over a month. But you also have to remember that the beta that they probably like shipped and they gave us was probably a build from 2 or 3 months ago, right? So it's not that like, oh, this build is like, there's only a 1 month between this build and the final. Like, that's just not how it works, right? They have to like finalize a lot of stuff with the builds and stuff like that to ship them. So I personally feel like the game is probably going to be pretty good. I don't think it's going to be like one of the best games ever released, but I do think it's going to be a solidly good game. I think it has a really unique magic system that I'm really interested in, the combat, the way that the combat flows and the way that the spell system flows. I really love the parkour. The parkour was
the traversal was great. I want to unlock the blue surfboard though. I keep seeing that, and I was like, oh, is it going to be a part? I think it's a separate magic, because I think ultimately you're going to end up with 4 different schools of magic. I think it looks like you have enough space on your screen.
I don't remember the number, but it's more than just the 2. So.
When I get that surfboard, it's a wrap. I'm just going to be gliding around, having a good time.
I do have to say, I had a really hard time climbing the wall. I think I might be stupid. I think that's like really like the answer, but I could not figure out the wall traversal.
I realized at a certain point, some of the steps, like you only have a certain amount of times you can run up the wall, and you have like a little magic meter at the bottom that would empty as you would use it. So if you got halfway up, then you would like fall. But there's also a little zoom in tether thing you can do. And at certain places you do that and it zips you up like those rock formations. I was like, what are those? And you tether to them and then it throws you up into the air. So I was like, oh, this makes traversal even better. So
yeah, I was just trying to flat out just like climb the walls, and it was just not, it was not working. And now that makes sense because I was not paying attention to any sort of meter. I didn't even see it. So yeah.
Here's my question for the two of you. Based on your experience in the demo, do you think that Frey, that's the main character, do you think she has the capacity to become, I don't know, a new pillar of a protagonist for Square Enix / PlayStation, or it's not that deep? Okay.
No, I think she's going to be a really good protagonist, and I think that she's definitely somebody different. Where she is very much like isekai. I think she's supposed to be just like a girl from like a city. Basically, that's just thrown into this fantasy world. That's why she's saying like, she's like a lot of like, what the fuck's going on? Like all that kind of stuff is because she's just like somebody that would be coming from our time, just being dropped into this random fantasy realm. And so, but she very much is like a modern day version of that. And so she's not adapting to the world at all, really. She's just still herself. And then in this world. So
I'm sure
I
that
think
might
it's
change
unique
as
and
the story
interesting.
goes.
Yeah.
As the story progresses, I'm sure that might change a bit. But yeah, in the demo, it's very much like I got ambushed at one point, classic fantasy style ambush. And the Bangle's like, "Oh, I thought this was going to be an ambush." She's like, "Why the fuck didn't you say anything?" It's like just their banter back and forth. I can understand people saying it's grating. Same thing that people are saying about another game I'm playing, High on Life. But when it flows well, it flows really well. Like I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. We'll see. It'll be good. I think that's my prediction is this will be a solidly good game.
Yeah. I feel like it'll be like maybe on the same level of Days Gone, where it's like there are plenty of people that thought Days Gone was bad, but I think that's because they're comparing it to the average Sony first party, which is like S tier. So if something comes out and it's B,
so much
I'm
to
like,
do with marketing. You know what I mean?
Marketing's huge too.
Like really, like I keep getting on this, but Callisto Protocol, they marketed that game so wrong, so terribly.
It was a failure of marketing.
It caused the game to be a disappointment for a lot of people because of the marketing. If they had just marketed that game different,
they shouldn't have pushed it. They shouldn't have pushed it as hard. It should have remained kind of this like, semi-secret. It shouldn't have been a situation where it was on every TV and every website that you visited for a solid month and a half. It should have been kind of a softer push, be like, obviously send it out to the bigger content creators, let them review it, let them talk about it. They should have shipped that ahead of time. There should have been more
reviews
impressions.
weren't even able to drop until day of. They had an embargo
which is
until the day of release.
Always painful. It's always painful.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, you do it to yourself when you have that scope, but Glenn Schofield was confident in it, and we see where it is right now. But I'm still looking forward to playing that. Based on Will's experience, based on a number of people who've played it. I mean, even Nave from Gaming Together Pod was talking about him treating it more like a brawler than anything else, and that excites me in terms of like being in that world. And I'm a huge melee guy in games.
If they had said like, hey, this is kind of like a brawler game with some horror elements, I never would have picked it up. You know what I mean? Because I'm not into brawlers. That's just not who I am. And that's okay. Like the game doesn't have to be for me. But horror games are for me. I really love horror games. And because they were like, this is gonna be the scariest game you've ever played. Like I was like, yeah, I'm so in.
Quadruple A experience.
Yeah. Anyways, I will get off this horse eventually, but I'm still so scarred. I'm really mad about it.
I'm still worried about getting to that final boss.
Oh my god, you have to let me know what happens. Oh my god, it's
the first person
I get
post.
so mad. I get so mad about it. Anyways, so that's what I'm saying is like as long as they like keep Forspoken hype where it is, like I think that Forspoken will have a good release. You know what I mean? If they're like Forspoken is the fantasy game of the year, like I'll be like, all right, chill out, guys. Chill out. We got Hogwarts coming right after.
Oh my god, we got so much stuff this year.
As long as they don't put out any more goofy trailers with weird, Limp Bizkit music in the background while she's running around a high fantasy world, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be okay.
That's how the Final Fantasy Paradise Lost.
Paradise. Strangers in Paradise. Yeah, exactly. That's how they pop the fuck off. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
It'll be a good time.
But Forspoken was good. High on Life, I've been playing a little bit of that, so that's been pretty fun.
I've heard
overall.
so much about it, and I know nothing about it.
Here's
Everybody's playing it, and I'm like, no idea what it is.
Competent shooters, first-person competent shooters, because it's competent. It's not fantastic. It breaks no mold. There's not a single mold that's been broken. If you like that and you like Rick and Morty, it's a good game for you. If you don't like either of those things, you will get frustrated at some point. If you like Rick and Morty, but you don't like shooters, the shooting elements will piss you off. If you like shooters, but you hate Rick and Morty, then the entire storyline and audio dialogue will frustrate you.
I've never heard anybody say that they hate Rick and Morty. You've either seen it.
I've heard plenty of people. I've heard plenty of people say they absolutely hate it.
Really?
Yes.
I've never heard anybody.
A lot of people do not like Dan Harmon or Justin Roiland, and which is, I think, I see a lot of similar people whose opinions are super strong about that be reflected on High on Life because it's a 1-for-1.
Yep. Okay. Because I'll say the comedy is like Rick and Morty. The comedy is very aggressive. It's very in-your-face comedy, and if you're not like down with that, then it's not really the game for you. But I'm having a good time. Maybe a third of the way through it, and so far so good. Dialogue's hitting.
Did you get your platinum by the way?
Wacky. For which one?
God of War.
Oh no, I still haven't. I planned on fighting her this weekend, and I did not do it. So
okay, no worries. I was curious.
Yeah. So I'm working on that. What else did I do besides High on Life? I did that. Oh, and I started up House of Ashes. I love those dark anthology, anything from Supermassive. So I have a pretty good time whenever I play those games. So me and my friend Shady, we're doing the co-op online for House of Ashes, and that's pretty good so far.
You know what's interesting? I popped into Twitch one time while I saw Shady streaming it, and it was in the middle of a cutscene, and I was looking at the character models, and the character models for House of Ashes looked just as good as the Quarry. Like it looked like great comparatively speaking to like Until Dawn era.
Yeah, they're slowly but surely, just kind of increasing as things go on. I feel like they're getting better and better. Shady did say that the most recent one, The Devil Inside, isn't super great. Kind of like took a step backwards from the other ones, but so far they've been getting better and better. So I think House of Ashes might be like the best one so far. But I mean, I'm having
that's the new one, right?
House of Ashes is the second to last one. The new one's called The Devil Inside.
Oh, okay. I get that all sorts of mixed up because there's not like they do
like one a year, so it's a lot. They're just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
I mean they've got the formula down, so sure.
I'd say slow down and make a bigger game. IMO.
Well, luckily they're doing both. Yeah, they do the Quarry. They'll drop the Quarry in between like episodes. So I'd say if you can do both and they stay around this level of quality, give me my little bite-size show and then give me the big one. But as long as, like you said, they don't just continue to do the yearly releases and then stop doing the bigger pieces. I want a Quarry. I want an Until Dawn. I want something huge I can sink my teeth into.
I think as long as, like you're saying, just as long as they're not dropping production quality, I think it's fine. I remember everybody complaining about how Assassin's Creed was coming out every year and like how the quality was dropping. Nostalgia. That's what I was just thinking about. I was like, I remember this complaint about like Assassin's Creed.
And then
back in my day,
they were like, fine, we'll stop doing it. And then they're like, okay, here's Mirage. Like 3 years later. I think it's been 3 years between Mirage and Valhalla.
Yeah, Valhalla. I thought Valhalla was 2021.
Although technically they put, I think, Phoenix between, which is really just Assassin's Creed, but not really. It's like cartoon Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Valhalla is 2020. So yeah, as of the Mirage date, that will be 3 years.
3 year gap.
I can't wait for some of the new ones coming out. I have to catch up. I just don't want to play the one that's set in America. I'm gonna be honest.
But that looks so interesting.
No,
about the Salem witches.
No, not that one. I'm not talking about the new ones. I'm talking about the old one.
Three. Oh, yeah. 3.
That's the worst one. Assassin's Creed 3 is the worst one. Don't stop. It's the worst one.
I mean, I just have to disagree with you because I thought that Connor's combat, like narratively, yeah. I mean, the story kind of went to garbage.
I just
obviously.
really hate American history.
I mean, American history, either it's one of those things. You either love it or you hate it. I tend to find certain aspects of that revolutionary era of American history, intriguing. I liked the fact that your protagonist was an Indigenous American. But more than anything else, Connor's fighting style was one of the most visceral and brutal fighting styles since Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and that just resonated. It just vibed with me. Using the axe, the way that he was twisting around enemies, that was my style. And then we went to Connor Kenway, I think, in 4 Black Flag. Black Flag was a cool game.
I haven't even touched that one because I couldn't get through 3.
He had this really weird fencing technique where it was like he was slipping in between like the swords. It was a very, very interesting combat style. It just didn't hit for me.
I really did love Brotherhood. I think that one has been my favorite.
Yeah.
So
Brotherhood is 100%.
But to be fair, I'm so far behind on them. So I don't know if I'll prefer other ones more, but I'm really far behind. Assassin's Creed was actually what made me want to get into game development, to be honest with you. So
that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Especially like the original ones 1 and 2. I mean, those are my favorites. I love those games. The architecture in the game themselves, and then just running around the traversal being fantastic in them.
Well, number one, the antagonist number 1, Al Mualim, like an icon.
Yeah,
like big. I mean, his speeches that he had in that, I mean, like chilling. Even today, going back and listening to them, really
so
good.
And also, I was god tier at the multiplayer. So
I could not get into the multi. It was not my bag.
Yeah, it was the only time I could beat my ex-boyfriend. That was the only game I could beat him at, and he would get so mad.
Suck it, nerd.
Yeah, get out of here.
I'm like, take that. This is this dumb game that nobody cares
about. It's true.
Yeah. Have you guys been playing anything else?
What you been up to, Nick?
So I, being out of town this weekend, didn't get a chance, to really get a lot of hands-on. I talked a lot about Pokemon Violet last time I was here. Everything I said before still holds true. The one note that I have as like an update, the fucking map in that game is trash. I am so angry at that map. Like the like, see, here's the thing, like the concept of, oh, go anywhere, do whatever you want, open world, Breath of the Wild's map was incredible and impeccable, and you knew exactly where you needed to go to get to where you wanted to be. Whereas Pokemon just has blotches. It looks like a 4-year-old just threw down gradients on this digital map, and it shows some pathways. It doesn't show others. It will let you point in the direction. It hitches every time you want to load it. It's just frustrating. So let that be.
Okay.
And part of the problem is that frustration is like, I went in a direction. I was like, oh, I'm going to go to the psychic gym. So I had to fucking go all the ass end way around one area. I had to go to the coast, and there's this secret cave back area with a rock face that you have to climb up. And my problem was I started doing this thing where I caught a level 30 Arcanine. Arcanine's my baby boy. I love Growlithe and Arcanine. That's like some of my top Pokemon, top 5 Pokemon right there. But he's level 30, and I've only beat one gym leader. So he doesn't listen to me when I tell him to do a move. Like, I'll tell him to use Flame Wheel, and it'll be like, Arcanine turned away. Arcanine ignored the command, that sort of thing. And then he'll just get beat and then faint. And so I have these high level Pokemon that I can't use yet, but then I'm fighting other Pokemon trainers that are level 30. I like kind of got an ego about it. I was like, this is fucking Pokemon. It's too easy. I can do this. But I literally just got steamrolled by like 3 trainers back to back. I was like, fuck this game. So I turned that off. I just need to play it the way that they want you to play it, and then I'll probably have a much better time. But be that as it may, I just shook my entire desk. But we did have big Christmas. We had big Christmas at Dad's house. I posted this on Twitter. Apparently farming Twitter wants to dunk on me now because they said that, yeah, I don't know. It's funny. But I had this one right here from Dad. This was present number 1. So it's going to be big splat time. I've never played a Splatoon game before, so this will be my introduction to the series. And then, yeah, I got this cute little amiibo right here. So it's Zelda and Loftwing from Skyward Sword. It's hard to see because of the glare.
That's
but
so pretty.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. And then some fucking jackass on Twitter was like, nice Barbie, dude. And I was like, got it. And I was like,
you say thanks. I love Barbie.
I like didn't even see it. I didn't even see it. And immediately the guys from the Elder Scrolls were like, dude, get the fuck off of Twitter. Do you have chickens to feed or something? I was like, get him, Jonathan.
Farmer Twitter.
Get him, Jonathan. I was like, watch out, guys. Yeah, the fucking livestock Twitter is coming for me right now. So that was fun. And then
you should have agreed with him with the Barbie though. You should have been like, yeah, I'm gonna go see Greta Gerwig's Barbie.
Oh hell yeah. The
Barbie movies are so good. So
I'm so excited for the Margot Robbie one that's coming out. I think that's gonna be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there was that, and then honestly didn't have much chance to play anything else other than Pokemon, except when I got home, my roommate was ranting and raving about High on Life. He's like, dude, pick up the controller. It's on your Xbox. Go play it right now. So I played an hour. I went through it. I beat the first boss. And I mean, Will's 100% right. Like it is not, breaking any boundaries, but I love the shooting mechanics. I don't think it, like some people were going so far as to say it's not really, mechanically it's a failure as a shooter. It's not that deep. It's perfectly serviceable as a shooter. And I like the dialogue from Rick and Morty. I enjoy a lot of the Justin Roiland's performances in that show, and I think that just lends. I just like the and I don't laugh at every single joke. Like every single joke that he says doesn't land for me each time. But I'll be playing, and it will be the unexpected shit that NPCs say that will make me crack up. Like one time, like I'm going down a tunnel. You would probably remember this, Will, but I'm going down a tunnel into the slums of this area, like the first area that you're in, because you're gonna go fight the first boss, and you see some you see slum people down there, and there's this one alien dude with his leg chopped off. And he's like, oh, hey, yeah, my leg's chopped off. And you just pass him. Like, you just don't say anything. You just pass him. And I went and I killed the first boss, and I'm going back up to the top side. And he was like, oh, hey, it's you again. Yeah, my leg's still like not attached to my body. And I just started cracking up. Like, it's very like kind of, the subtle humor is what worms its way into like getting some giggles out of me. So, but I'm excited to keep on doing it just because I like Knifey. I don't think Will likes Knifey, but I love Knifey. It's just that Australian accent. I want to stab.
Yeah, I told you, be careful what you wish for with these accents.
It was good. But yeah, that's it for me. That's all I really been playing right now. But I got a lot of stuff on the docket, so keep an eye out.
I like literally had to make a note on my phone. I was like, it's too overwhelming. So
Yep,
I
I
like
like
literally
it.
made like a note that was like January games that I have to play, February games I have to play.
Oh
Like,
goodness
I just
gracious!
like
I have a whole
I just had to
spreadsheet,
make a
Brianna. I
list.
have a whole
So
spreadsheet. I have a currently playing spreadsheet. There's like 24 games on there. It's
oh
terrible.
god. Yeah, that sounds like my notebook. Wait, where's my note? Oh, I don't know where my notebook is. I just
Your
realized
notebook is
anyway.
highly organized, though. I have a lot of respect
It's
for
so
that.
beautiful. I
Yeah,
love my
it's really,
notebook
really
so
well
much.
done.
I had another one. I don't want to name any names, but somebody threw up on it.
Oh,
It was definitely Luna.
I
And
was like,
I
Damn
watch
it,
was
out, Dane.
Luna.
I cannot believe that happened, and I had to redo the entire notebook. So this is my second version, so I kind of knew what I was doing a little bit better. It's a lot better. I love this one, but man, I'm still upset about that puke. I personally have only been playing 2 games, and I've kind of been switching between the 2 because they're so wildly different, that like it doesn't bother me to switch between them. I've been playing Sifu, which has been good. It's definitely not my type of game, but I am determined to play it anyways.
Okay.
Let's see. Earlier you said
Okay.
you weren't into brawlers, and I'm like, you picked up the
How
brawliest brawler that
how
came out last
far
year.
how far in it are you though, Bree?
I beat the first boss.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
bot.
The
No?
first boss is super fun. Level 2 is where it gets super real though. Level 2 is tough. It is tough. I
Yeah.
probably spent the majority of my time perfecting my I got through it, but it's about perfecting your runs. What
Yeah.
age did you get out of? Do you remember what age you got out of level 1 at?
Probably in the 60s.
Okay. Okay. Yep. So
But
there's
I'm just
plenty of
like
room
I
for
kind of have
improvement. Yep.
I've stopped paying attention to the age because I'm learning how to play the game.
Oh, sure.
The other
Yeah.
thing is I end up taking like a lot of hits that I wouldn't necessarily take because I'm trying to figure out like the L1, like the parrying and like blocks and stuff. So I'm just kind
Yeah.
of like leaning into the damage now so I can figure out the mechanics and just kind
Mhm.
of letting the damage happen.
If I
Because
can make
I'm
one
not.
recommendation, and I promise I'm not backseat gaming here, but if I
Okay.
can make one recommendation that helped me, it helped me so much, is that parrying is good and it gets very, very important in the later levels. So you do have to master it, especially for boss encounters. However, when you're running through a level, it's really, really important to master the weave as opposed to the parry because you're getting bombarded with so many enemies simultaneously that mastering that weave is going to be super important and kind of a little bit of a trick. And I know this
And
is
that's
kind of
the dodge
hacky.
mechanic, you mean?
Yes.
Like the
So
R2? Okay.
yeah. So you hold, I can't remember the specific function, but I'm pretty sure it's you hold L1 and you use the right stick to move him. And
Okay.
he'll do like a little, like a flash of white and he'll just completely avoid the damage. But if you hold L1 and you move the stick back and forth quickly, he'll dodge almost every single move without fail.
Okay,
So
I'll have to
when you're
figure
in,
that one out.
yeah, when you're in
Okay.
enemy encounters, that's a huge deal to be able to like, and work on your maneuverability, all that. So yeah.
Okay. Cool beans. So yeah, so that's one of the games that I'm playing, very combat heavy. I mean, there's story there, but not a ton of story, just mostly like beating people up. The other game I'm playing is Immortality, which is purely
All
story.
story. Yeah, you gotta tell me how
What
you're
do you
liking
think
that so
about?
far.
Yeah, what do you think about the lady, the actress?
Wow. Seriously? Wow. I truly, if this game had been more popular, I think she really could have won that best performance award.
Oh,
Over
Because
Chris
like
Judge?
yeah, I'm not saying that Chris Judge didn't deserve the award because I think he absolutely did, but I also think it was slightly a popularity contest because not a lot of
100%.
people played Immortality.
mhm.
But
Yeah.
her performance in that is insane. Like the range, the depth. You have to remember that it's like the actress playing an actress playing 3 different characters.
Yep.
Plus other stuff going on like behind all of those characters. So
Yeah.
there's like 5, 6, 7 characters that she's playing, like all within this one thing, and she's just this one person.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind. It blows my mind. It's so good.
Same.
That's
I'm
It's so
glad to hear
good.
that you're enjoying it because I know it's weird trying to ask how far along you are in a game like that because there's no real like progress
Yeah.
bar.
There's not progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
do you feel
just
like you have a
barely
pretty
made
good
it through
grasp
all
on
of
the story?
Ambrosio. Yeah, so
Okay.
I have like I have to go in order, like not going in order really like upsets me.
That makes your life
So
difficult in a game like that.
yeah, it does. So I have made it through all of Ambrosio. I just got the achievement that I have all of the film reels. I watched all the film reels.
Nice.
I've done like the whole scrubbing back and forth with all of them. So I've made it through all of that. So that's about as far as I've gone. I have not watched any of Minsky or the third one.
I can't remember, like It Takes Two or something like that.
Yeah, they abbreviate it as 2OE, two of everything. That's what it is.
There it is.
So yeah, so pretty good time, but like also like really creepy time, like also kind of really gross
extremely creepy
time.
times. Yeah,
Is it creepy? It like
A lot of
gross?
boobs.
It's creepy. Yeah, it's
Lot of
quite a bit of
boobies?
nudity. Yeah, quite a
A
bit
lot
of
of
nudity.
boobs. Yeah. Not a lot of
Yeah,
butts.
it's
I've been missing
No.
out. There was one scene where this
Damn.
guy got like he was like getting undressed, and I was like, well, whoa.
Was he caked
hello.
up, Brianna?
Oh, he was caked up.
You're like,
Oh,
fast
let's
forward,
go.
fast forward.
Double cheeked up on a Tuesday. What are you doing out here, sir?
Yeah. No, he's so buff. That was one of the first scenes I watched too, and I was like, yes, I'm listening.
I'm into this game now.
No, it's a very interesting game. I feel like it's a hard sell, but if you
It's
can
not
get
really
into
a
it,
game either. Like it
yeah,
is,
those FMV
but it's
games.
not.
FMV.
Yeah, it's FMV games are, like I said, it's a hard sell. It's like if you can get into it, then you're going to have a very special time. It's a very unique game, and not only is it unique, but I feel like in the genre of FMV games, it's very good as far as what it's telling in the story.
The amount of depth in it is
It's
insane.
huge. But
I kind of realized I don't know what I'm doing in the game. Like I know what I'm doing, like as far as like mechanics, but I'm like,
what's the
because
point?
I already found out, like, and I'm sure there's more mystery to it, but I already found out like what happened to two of the characters.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, am I looking for a third character? I don't know. Like, and so I just realized like I don't know what like my objective is anymore. I'm not like mad about it.
That seems really intriguing though.
Like there's not like an end goal where it's like
There's
you
not a
gotta beat the
waypoint.
guy.
There's not a checklist. Yeah.
It's weird experience. And I would say I thought that it would be better experience on PC. You can play it on console. Just do it on console.
It's been good on console.
Yeah.
The controller is a lot easier. And the controller also vibrates to let you know like when there's like hints. The PC obviously does not vibrate.
Yes. Yeah. So it's even more difficult when you're trying to scrub backwards and find those kind of hidden videos.
Because I had no idea that they were there because like, the vibration doesn't go off.
I wonder if the Xbox controller integration though still works for like the PC Game Pass app.
It does.
Yeah.
For me, I'm on Steam and I'm using my PlayStation 5 controller.
Oh, okay, got it.
So and it does still vibrate. I had to switch to controller because I was missing some of the like secret.
Playing on nightmare mode by accident.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So those are the two games I've been playing. So yeah, I'm also going to pick up. I was a teenage exocolonist. That's going to be my pickup this week. So.
Oh, that one sounds interesting. I've heard about it, but I'm curious. Is it pixel art? Is it 2D cell shade? No. Okay. All right.
It's 2D. It's an indie joint, right? To be mostly text based and a lot. It's like dating sim, but also like just like kind of like a slice of life kind of thing.
Yeah.
I haven't picked it up yet. I mean, it's downloaded on my Switch. I'm going to take it with me when we go to Paso, but
yeah. Perfect.
I'll keep you guys updated in 2 weeks. 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Like that. Yeah. I'll see you guys way later. Not you guys, but like everybody way later. We're taking 2 weeks off.
The world.
Yeah.
I guess this is actually probably a good time to let everybody know. The No Limits crew has decided to take 2 weeks off because I was tired. And everybody else is still busy. So we're not recording. So you won't have an episode on the 20th. Or sorry, this one will come out on the 20th, the 27th and the 3rd of December or of January. And so you'll see us again on the 10th of January. And we should be back with probably Ethan and Taylor would be my guess, but we'll see.
Okay. Cool.
Good time to make that announcement. Let's get into the news. We've been just hanging out here for a minute.
Let's go. Yeah, we're vibing.
Okay, so news story number 1. We have our little leak.
The leak appears.
Yes.
And
big leak boy.
Yeah, in true Naughty Dog fashion, we have a leak. Recently, it was claimed by a prominent video game and movie leaker on Twitter that Neil Druckmann, co-president of Naughty Dog, is currently working on The Last of Us Part 3 and that it will be his next game. While this news may not come as a complete surprise, it's a step towards confirmation that The Last of Us 3 or Part 3 even exists. Last year, Druckmann confirms that there was something of a plot. And then this year, there were whisperings that it was in the earliest stages of development. But this leak could be a step closer still. This would technically be the third Last of Us game developed at Naughty Dog at the moment, with the team also working on the multiplayer Factions 2 that was revealed at Summer Games Fest 2022. There are also rumors circulating that an all-new IP is in development at Naughty Dog, which could pave the way for this to be the final Last of Us title in the franchise. I'm going to say the last of Us, but final is good too. Anyways. There are expectations that the story will ultimately wrap up with a cure being developed, eradicating the cordyceps brain infection and all the nasty monsters it has created. That's just conjecture, of course, but at the time, or by the time The Last of Us Part 3 is expected to release, the franchise will be about 15 years old.
Goodness gracious.
Can you believe that?
That's a lot.
Wild.
Okay, this comes from Grant Taylor Hill at Insider Gaming. I can't believe that just last week I was like, no way, Last of Us Part 3. I feel like a fool.
I literally had a conversation with Jason from the DualSense podcast, and he was talking about how he expects them to be working on The Last of Us Part 3. And I was like, are you sure about that? Are you sure? Because like it feels like the move, the direction, the general culture is asking for Uncharted 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know if he responded or not, but yeah, this is fascinating. I mean, interesting to see. The question that I have though is, could it be both? Like Neil isn't the only director they have at that studio.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Naughty Dog has just siloed two games simultaneously as well as the Factions 2 team?
My feelings are, well, just based on this article, it seems like they're working on a new franchise.
Yep.
Which would mean that there's another team that's not working on Last of Us 3 that's working on something that we don't even know about. So in which case they would probably, my guess would be that they would put Last of Us 3 out and take the Last of Us 3 team and put them on Uncharted 5. So then we would have Last of Us 3, the new franchise after that, then Uncharted 5, so that there's a pretty big gap between those, like Uncharted 4 and 5. I could be wrong, and that's only if they aren't doing Uncharted.
Yeah, I'd say that's if they're doing Uncharted, which I'm like, then they have the thing that's like, oh, there's like a third company, like, a separate person working on Uncharted 5. So
I would be a little sad if they weren't doing Uncharted, but at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. But
true.
I think that Uncharted will come back eventually. I just don't know how long it's going to take, because I think that they're okay to take a pretty big break, especially if they're going to have one of the kids like take over, because then the longer of between like 4 and 5, the more like realistic it is, I guess, in our timeline.
That's true.
Versus theirs. So
yeah, I think that also, I mean, another strategic thing that they have to think about is that I personally am of the opinion that, or what I would want to see is this new IP, whatever this new IP that they're rumored on to be in development. Obviously, it sounds like, based on the leaks, that The Last of Us Part 3 is not vaporware. It is very much a real project in development. They're probably knee deep in dev right now. But I mean, personally, I think that there's a lot of stigmata around The Last of Us Part 2 and like the whole Naughty Dog culture and like everything that The Last of Us and how Naughty Dog has impacted PlayStation. And I think that there's a little bit an overexposure on top of, The Last of Us Part 1, controversy, or people getting upset about, pricing, everything that's involved with The Last of Us Part 1 remake. And then you take that into account along with the show. I mean, we're getting so much The Last of Us content. I do not want to play. Well, it's not that I don't want to play. It's that I would be a little dismayed if they came out, or if they rushed The Last of Us Part 3 for it to come out in 2024. Stop making a face at me, William. I
thought you were going to say I don't want to play Last of Us Part 3, and I
don't want to play it that soon, is what I'm saying. I don't want it to be coming out that soon. I want to wait. I want to cool right on it. I want to be playing it right now, but you have to think about what that product is going to look like if they rush it out. That's what I don't want to play.
Well, the one thing I'm not worried about Naughty Dog doing is rushing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
on their time. And yeah, I want to play it like now, but if they put focus in it and they make it, well, obviously, they can still do it in a healthy time frame and not be rushed.
But
I
Naughty
agree.
Dog is
Definitely
also
don't
known
rush it,
for
babe.
crunching, is the thing. I mean, you had
Mhm.
the whole thing with Jason Schreier and all of the build up to The Last of Us Part 2 launch and everything that's involved with it. And I'm by no means sitting here and coming on a PlayStation podcast and pooping on Naughty Dog, because I love that company. I love the games that they
know your crowd, sir.
you know, I know, right? Like you have to keep things in perspective here, but it's just that it is concerning the amount of overexposure that we're getting right now. And it's also that push in the cinematic universe direction. And not to mention, we're going to have factions. Factions is going to exist. I expect it to exist in 2023. So that's going to be a live service game that's going to be consistently ongoing. And I mean, maybe their hope is that's going to tie us over until part 3.
Probably.
But
so here's my thing. Like, so Last of Us has historically hit at the end of one life cycle of the console at the beginning of the other, right? Not the very, very beginning, but pretty close to the beginning, right? So, Last of Us Part 1, or I guess technically just The Last of Us, hit
Star Wars,
end of PS3, beginning of PS4, right? And then Part 2 hit end of PS4, beginning of PS5. So if you're thinking about that timeline, then we're going to have to be looking at the end of the PS5 life cycle into the PS6 or whatever they call it, which I think does put us in about like what 3-4 years from now.
Just about, yeah. It'd be like 2027.
Yeah. So maybe not 2024, but you also have to remember that these are just rumblings and game development takes a long time. So unfortunately, with the history of Naughty Dog's everything being leaked all the time, like honestly, like leaky butthole everywhere, you know what I mean? Like
it's nasty out there over in
so
California.
bad. I know. No
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
It's like genuinely, I just feel they need to figure that out first. Once they figure out that, then they can release Last of Us Part 3.
Did you play Last of Us Part 1, the
No, not
remake
yet.
that just came out? Not yet. Okay.
Not yet. I'm planning on playing that, and I'm gonna play Part 2 as well. I'm just gonna go bam bam.
I started it. I got my look on it. I got my hands on it. It's a beautiful game. That's going to be one of those where when I turn my PlayStation on, nothing's happening except PlayStation for a long time, because I got backlog over at PlayStation. So that's going to be part of my swipe through those games.
I just want more Abby in my life. That's it. Just give me more Abby.
The big lady, the large lady.
That's all I want. That's all I want.
It's classic William. Classic William.
Good time.
Yeah.
Good time. But it's actually it's an enjoyable time. But man, Last of Us Part 2 is
gut wrenching. I can't replay it. That's why I have to look forward to 3. I'm not gonna play 2 again.
Who's gonna take the second story? I want to see you guys. You don't have to fight over it, but I'm just curious who's gonna.
I'll let Nick take this one. That sounds good.
Okay.
I want to talk about the next one.
Okay.
So, God of War live action series officially announced for Prime Video with Cory Barlog as an executive producer. Ooh, the news couldn't be sweeter today, y'all.
That's real nice.
Prime Video has announced that it will officially order a God of War live action series in co-production with Sony Pictures Television and PlayStation Productions. Amazon's Prime Video service says that the live action series will be an adaptation of the Santa Monica Studios sequel series, following Kratos in the Norse realm of Midgard, following his quest for vengeance in ancient Greece. Like in the game, the series will follow Kratos as he journeys with his son to the highest peak as a final request from his late wife. It was reported earlier this year that Prime Video was in talks with PlayStation on a potential live-action series, but today's direct-to-order announcement confirms Prime Video is serious about the adaptation. The Wheel of Time's Raph Judkins will serve as showrunner and executive producer, while Mark Fergus and Hawk Otsby, who's worked on Iron Man and Children of Men, have boarded the series as writers and executive producers. Cory Barlog will also serve as an executive producer. The God of War is a compelling character-driven franchise that we believe will captivate our global customers as much with its expansive and immersive world as its rich storytelling, says Amazon Studios' head of global television, Vernon Sanders. We are so proud and excited to be working with our friends at Amazon Studios and our partners at PlayStation Productions to adapt this beautiful and heartbreaking game into a premium live-action series, adds Sony Pictures Television Studios president Kathleen Pope. This is all coming from Matt Kim over at IGN. Shout out to Matt Kim. He's the boy. He's been there for a while. We love the guy. So I'm gonna let y'all. Do y'all have any initial thoughts popping off based on what they're saying here?
Well,
scared.
I'm just excited about this.
I'm so
I am
scared.
generally an optimistic person where I'm just like, if it's gonna flop, all well. We've seen at this point, I've been burned so many times by video game movies and TV shows and stuff that I'm just like okay with it, you know? And you also have to remember I'm a huge reader. So books getting adapted into film has like absolutely just like flopped so many times. So if it flops, whatever. But if it doesn't,
Bree says,
so
I'm ready to be
now
hurt again.
yeah, oh well. Oh
So
well.
I watched The Wheel of Time. I watched probably like 3 or 4 episodes into it before I gave it up. It felt like a CW show to me. I couldn't get into it. I
I
love
liked
the
it.
actress who's the lead character. I'm sorry.
I said I liked it.
Oh yeah,
But
I
I haven't
mean
read the book.
that's okay. I haven't read the books either. And
I
I
heard
was
if you read the
expecting.
book, it's terrible.
Oof.
Yeah, I was
Let's just see how
expecting
it goes.
maybe to be because of the fact that I was blind coming into this, because I'm usually that guy. I read the book for I fucking mainline through the books, and
Oh,
then I
I'm so
watch the
scared
show,
of
and
those
I'm like,
books.
they messed that up. They messed this up. Fuck Halo. You all are stupid. Like that's me. But I watched.
But actually,
But I I watched The Wheel of Time, and I was just like, what is this B movie bullshit that they're putting on Amazon Prime? And I was expecting it to be good because Amazon has a really solid history with The Boys
great history.
and with Invincible of like
Yeah.
taking these other adaptations and putting on a really strong performance. I mean, those are 2 like incredible shows. If y'all haven't seen The Boys or Invincible, go watch that shit right now because that is so good. I think like Cory Barlog being an executive producer is going to be a really good sign because he is the one who established the lore. He's established the tone and the setting for God of War 2018, which, in my, 2022 end of the year review, I came out and said that, I resonated with that a lot more in different ways because of his aesthetic styles and his the choices he made in storytelling in 2018 versus, Eric Williams' implementation in Ragnarok. A lot of that is personal thing. That's not to say Ragnarok's a bad game. I'll say that a million times. It's a great game. But it's just, 2018, just the way that story unfolded connected with me more. And
really, I think I actually connected with Ragnarok a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was necessarily like the directors. I think it was just, I really connected with the way that like their relationship unfolded and how like Atreus was able to kind of be his own person.
Yeah, there were definitely moments where Ragnarok it was incredible. I mean, obviously the moments where they were really putting on, there were moments in Ragnarok that were way better than like 90% of the movies that I saw in 2022. And
Yeah, that's true.
That is like 100% confirmed. And I'm not taking away from any of those actors because they really put their heart and soul into that. It's just, it's small nitpicky Nick being a fucking critic thing. That's where I exist with Ragnarok. But I think my issue here is that we're seeing a hodgepodge of production getting put together. It's like they're trying to pick an all-star lineup to put a team together. And I don't know how involved Cory will be in the final project, what it is.
Yeah.
I'm expecting the worst and hoping for the best. That's where I'll leave this.
See, my brain immediately was like, who are we casting? That's where my brain went. I totally jumped to the,
do you
is it
have
gonna
any
be good or
fan cast
bad?
ideas? Do you have any ideas?
That's why I was like, I don't know.
I mean,
Chris Judge in some makeup and call it a day. Let's just do this.
I really kind of can we just have him do the voice for the actor anyway?
Yeah. Just dub him with Chris Judge's voice.
I mean, that would be funny. That would be hilarious.
Because someone did a mock-up of Triple H from wrestling.
If you don't want to cast Chris Judge, fine. At least give him the voice, though.
Yes.
Do you think Momoa could pull it off?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
He's built like Kratos, though. I mean, that's really where my mind is going. It's just the body, the body model for Kratos.
Well, so if you're purely talking like body, then I get it. But in that case, like I think that they could just cast Chris Judge because I think that
The Rock Johnson.
Please stop.
I think that their excuse for not casting Chris Judge is in part going to be like, oh well, he's not Greek, right? And so that would be the same thing for Momoa. Right?
Yeah,
he's not Greek.
True.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that they'll necessarily cast a Greek person because I doubt they will, but they're going to cast somebody that's going to look more Greek. And I think that they couldn't cast Momoa if they're going to use that as their excuse, because in that case, just cast Judge. Personally, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I think the most likely thing that will happen is that we're going to get a nobody as Christopher Judge. As Kratos, as the God of War. I would prefer to have a no-name actor step into that role and truly own it.
The thing is like the age that actor would need to be, it's really hard to get an actor of that age that is a no name, right? Because most of the actors that are like older are already established. So I think that that's an interesting take. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I think that that's interesting because I think like Atreus could be somebody that's no name because they're young, they're just getting into the industry, whatever. But I don't know. I'm not sold. But yeah, I'm like, throw the Greek thing out the window. We can just pretend he's from Greece. Just put Christopher Judge in, like let him have the role, please.
Well, I mean, and that's the real trick, right? It's the adaptation, the process of where we're going from adapting God of War as a video game franchise, which has established itself as one of the best video game franchises in history. And the fact that we're taking this to TV, we already know we're going to get a diluted product going from A to B. Like that's, and so,
you just can't have a game
from the jump.
Undiluted.
Exactly. And so, you're going to go in with lower expectations at the end of the day.
The Sonic movie.
That's different though, because the Sonic games are trash. You know what I mean? Or they've historically been trash. Sonic Adventure Battle 2.
The Sonic fans are gonna come
Adventure
for
Battle
you.
2 is my fucking shit. Y'all
You're
come for
like,
me. I want to hear it. I want you to blow up my Twitter, please.
You're gonna have not only like the Sonic people, but like the furries are gonna come out of the woodworks. You're not even gonna know.
Yeah,
they're gonna come out of somewhere. You don't even know where they were.
Gonna get the rings knocked out of them. So
Will, can I come stay at your house? I gotta hide from the furries.
We gotta put you in a.
I genuinely,
the guest bedroom.
Genuinely, I hear that like furries are like the nicest people you'll ever meet. Like genuinely, that's the only thing I've ever heard about them. That's the only thing I've ever heard is that they're like the nicest people. And I'm like, I kind of want to go hang out. I will not be wearing a fursuit because that's way too hot for me. It's way too hot. I will be sweating
sweltering.
I'm over here like,
but
as you look over at the fursuit that's in like over in your closet, you're like, I heard they're really nice. I don't know who's told me about that, but
yeah, no, I just have cardigans. I just live in cardigans. That's
I understand from my ex that Target, the corporation Target, is full of like furries in like the
okay. I thought you were gonna say like funding it or something.
You can't. Quite the opposite. I'm sure. Quite the opposite. Yeah, they're on the anti-furry initiative over at Target. I don't know.
No. I mean, I thought you were saying that they were funding, like literally like funding furries, like the conventions
like
and
the
stuff.
Groups,
like,
yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, is this like, are we unraveling a conspiracy live right now?
No, this is turning into a conspiracy podcast. Actually, guys. That's what's happening.
Good time. All right,
for this next one.
Let's go. Let's get into it.
All right, so here's a fun one, y'all. The next Tomb Raider game in development at Crystal Dynamics will be published by Amazon Games. Two Amazons back to back. So the untitled follow-up to 2018 Shadow of the Tomb Raider will be a multi-platform game described as a single-player narrative-driven adventure that continues Lara Croft's story in the Tomb Raider series. Amazon and Crystal Dynamics called the next game in the franchise, the biggest, most expensive Tomb Raider game to date. It's also noted to be in early development. A release window and platforms for the new Tomb Raider were not announced. The next Tomb Raider said to unify the timelines of Lara Croft's more recent prequel set adventures and those of the original games. Shadow of the Tomb Raider's ending, which capped off Crystal Dynamics' Survivor trilogy, nodded slyly at the events of the original Tomb Raider with artwork featuring a young Lara Croft outside of a pyramid and facing a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Previous entries in the Tomb Raider franchise were published by Square Enix, but earlier this year, Square Enix sold off Crystal Dynamics and other studios, along with the associated intellectual properties to Embracer Group. Now Amazon Games is stepping in to provide full support and publishing to the new Tomb Raider. Amazon Games is committed to bringing players games of the highest quality from the best developers across all variety of platforms and genres, and we're honored by the opportunity to work with this story developer and franchise, says VP of Amazon Games Christoph Hartmann in a news release. Our team is incredibly excited about collaborating with the talented and visionary Crystal Dynamics team to bring the next chapter of Lara Croft's saga to players around the world. Crystal Dynamics has an extraordinary opportunity following our acquisition of Embracer to redefine what a publishing relationship is for Tomb Raider, added Scott Amos, head of studio at Crystal Dynamics. Transformative is what we're looking for, and with Amazon Games, we found a team that shares our creative vision, ambitions, and values for a Lara Croft universe across the spectrum of possibilities. They're uniquely positioned to rewrite what publishing and development collaborations are, and we're eager to forge this new path together, starting with building the biggest and best Tomb Raider game yet. This is from Michael Werther.
McWhorter.
McWhorter. McWhorter. Michael M. over at Polygon.
Sorry, Mike.
Sorry, Mike. But you did a great article. This is definitely a lot of really good news. And I will say, I love this recent.
Good job, buddy. you deserve that title.
His name is fine. I'm just bad. Look, it's on me. That's all on me. But I will say this Tomb Raider article is super interesting. I love the Survivor trilogy. As many missteps as it had sometimes in the middle game itself.
I didn't play the third
all
one.
in all. Oh, you didn't play the third one?
I
You
know,
didn't play
I'm mad
Shadow?
about it. I'm really mad
It's
about
cool.
it.
Yeah, I got a chance to play through, I think, all of them at this point on Xbox. And I mean, I had a blast with the entire trilogies itself. So I'm looking forward to this next one. I don't know. You say you haven't played the third one. Nick, did you get a chance to play through all three in the Survivor series?
Played 1 and 2. I didn't even know there was a third one. I'm gonna be honest.
My goodness,
with
both of you. What is
that
happening?
that was like a blind spot. The Tomb Raider was like a blind spot.
Well, they didn't really do a lot to promote that. I feel like.
Yeah, no, they didn't. It wasn't huge, unfortunately.
But I will say that like playing as Lara Croft in those games was the best Lara Croft that we ever got. And I mean the story hit hard. And I mean like the twists and everything that was in it was unexpected. And then you give me a bow. You give me a bow in any video game, I'm a happy boy. I'm a happy guy. You know what I mean? And then they really perfected a lot of those systems there. So Amazon Games scares me because this could turn into vaporware so easily. They have a horrible track record of finalizing and producing games that are in development. I mean, that studio has been around for how long now? I'm just not sure. What do you guys think? Do you think that they have the ability to follow through? I mean, here's my real question. I'm a little bit fuzzy on. Embracer Group owns Crystal Dynamics now. Do they own the Tomb Raider IP?
Yes, that's part of the article. Yeah,
is that what they specifically said?
It was all part of like the purchase from Crystal Dynamics or like of Crystal Dynamics.
The entire
all of the franchises.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So and that was the whole Embracer Group purchase. Any studio that they bought, they were buying the IPs that came with the studio as well.
So basically, they're just acting like THQ Nordic, and what they're doing is they're leasing the IP out to Amazon Game Studios.
Amazon isn't making it though; it's still Crystal Dynamics.
It's still Crystal. Okay,
Crystal still.
But Amazon
exists,
is just
and
producing
they're
it.
making the game.
Okay, so
Amazon is
financial
just
partners.
publishing it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense now. But
yeah, so Embracer really is extremely hands off, where they just own the studio. So it's basically Crystal Dynamics and Amazon Games that are doing like the developing and publishing. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's good. I'm excited. I mean, I feel like
I don't love Amazon Games, but oh well.
Yeah. Is there a reason why you don't?
I don't like Amazon.
Fair.
So, I mean, they haven't had anything crazy hit either. So it's not that I don't believe that they will, like that there won't be a game that's like really successful from them. Like I'm not saying that like they cannot succeed. I'm just saying they haven't really succeeded yet in a really crazy way.
Still unproven. Yeah.
I think Valheim was Amazon. The biggest performance that they've had is that MMO and I think that people for a while there got really into it, but that's the only significant thing that I've seen from them.
Yeah. Amazon just kind of doesn't treat their workers very nicely, so I don't know if that transfers over to the games industry at all, but Amazon
probably not. Yeah. But they are coming out with that Blue Protocol game, which kind of looks pretty tight. If you remember that from the,
it does look pretty good.
It looks good.
But that was that's not even them making it too. So
yeah, absolutely not. They're just funding the project.
All right, let's hit this next one. I'm really excited about this one. I may or may not have placed it number 4, so that way I can.
I see where we're going.
Yeah. What can I say? It's like I wrote the doc. Anyways, Hideo Kojima Productions has partnered with Barbarian EP Alex Lebovici, I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong, Hammerstone Studios, to develop and produce a film adaptation of the former's hit video game Death Stranding. The film will be fully financed by Hammerstone with Kojima and Lebovici. While Kojima and Lebovici will serve as executive producers. The plot for the project what the heck? This is written really weird. I'm so sorry. The plot for the project marking Kojima's Productions' first ever feature adaptation is being kept under wraps. Rumors say that it will introduce new elements and characters within the Death Stranding universe. It's not yet clear who will write and direct the pick, though the film is now on fast track for development being underway. This is a quote from Kojima. He says, "I couldn't be more excited about this new partnership with Hammerstone Studios. This is a pivotal moment for the franchise, and I'm really looking forward to collaborating with them in bringing Death Stranding to the big screen." And then this next one is from Libovici. It says, "We are thrilled and honored to have the opportunity to partner with a brilliant and iconic Hideo Kojima on his first film adaptation. Unlike other big budget tentpole video game adaptations, this will be something far more intimate and grounded. Our goal is to redefine what a video game adaptation could be when you when you have creative and artistic freedom. This film will be authentic Hideo Kojima production." I'm sorry, that was just such a Hideo Kojima thing to say that it made me laugh, because now I understand why they get along. Because Kojima's always like, this is gonna be the new thing, the new best
making a
thing.
new Strand type game. You're gonna see this is a new genre of game, is the Strand type.
Artistic freedom. Yeah, we're breaking out of the molds.
He's doing the same thing. He's like, yeah, we're gonna redefine video game adaptations. I don't know, it just cracked me up. I'm optimistic about this film. I'm excited for this film. I'm happy, I'm happy to have like all these video game franchises being developed finally. I think that like we're kind of seeing this explosion now, but I kind of wish we had kind of gotten a slower trickle that started a long time ago. Like they should have made an Uncharted movie forever ago.
They're running out of 80s and 90s movies to reboot, as well as books that have like mainstream pop culture appeal to adapt. So now they're just dipping into video games. I feel like
if you hadn't added the mainstream appeal, I probably would have come for you. So you're like, there's not enough
more
books.
along the lines.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's always more books. It's just that nobody's like choosing the books that probably could be excellently translated to the big screen to do, because like not a lot of people know about them. But yeah, I will say though, I'm in line with you, Brianna, about this project for all the reasons that I am a little dismayed on what's going on with Amazon and God of War. This is actually exciting to me.
You like Barbarian.
Barbarian was my 2020 film of the year. And that's saying a lot considering that I fell in love with Robert Eggers' The Northman. I love that movie to death, and it's just, it hits all the notes. But Barbarian, just like everything about that just was so perfect in the way that he put it together, between the writing and the framing and the lighting, just as a package. It was an incredible experience from top to bottom, and I hadn't seen a movie like that in ages and ages. So we'll see what happens. But I'm still optimistic about this one.
Barbarian's gonna be my Christmas movie. I'm not probably gonna watch it directly on Christmas.
It's a good Christmas movie.
It's a really good one.
It's a good one,
for sure. But no, I'm excited for this though. I mean, Kojima games are pretty much movies anyways, so it's going to be a very seamless transition into making it a movie.
Do you think if Death Stranding pops off, Kojima won't have anything to do with it, but do you think like the film industry will try to dip into Metal Gear?
I mean, I feel like they've already been talking about it.
Konami. Yeah.
I don't see why they wouldn't, but also like if like Kojima is like not part of it, like
well, he can't be attached to the project in any way.
Right, exactly.
Or there are going to be lawsuits flying around left and right. But
I don't know if Konami's going to want to go out of the way to like license this out to a movie company and then let them do stuff.
No, they got to they have more pachinko machines to make. They're not going to make another pachinko movie to work on. Get out of here. Yeah, that's too busy. Too busy with gambling.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess we shall see. We'll see. I'm curious to see, especially since they're saying like it's fast tracked. Also, by the way, this comes from Matt Grover at the Deadline. I have not used Deadline before on our docs, so I thought I was going to be different and interesting and add a new news source. Anyways, but we'll see how long this takes.
Yeah, that's what I'm really use the same actors and actresses from the games. I mean, it makes sense, right?
They have to.
What are they going to do for the baby?
Kojima's like, I'm going to use a real baby.
Okay, I'm going to need a baby to be in liquid
all the time.
Submerged in liquid. Yes, correct.
Oh, that'll be CG for sure. But I enjoy the idea that they're like, okay, who can we hire?
Tom Holland as the baby in Death Stranding.
What's the name of the actress who plays Fragile? What's her name again?
Leah Seydoux.
Leah Seydoux. So good. Yeah, I mean, like when you have Norman Reedus and Leah Seydoux, why not just throw them in there? Just lock them in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have the next article that's on our doc right here. Horizon multiplayer game confirmed by Guerrilla, which is new, absolutely news to nobody. But this is interesting. Guerrilla has confirmed that it is working on a multiplayer game set in the Horizon universe, and that it will feature a brand new cast of characters and a new art style. The job advertisement on Twitter states a new internal team is developing a separate online project set in Horizon's universe, featuring a new cast of characters and a unique stylized look. Friends will be able to explore the majestic wilds. I'm not sure.
I assume it's wild. I just copy and paste.
Yeah, that's all good. It's all good. Probably majestic wilds of Horizon together. A rumor suggesting a multiplayer Horizon game surfaced earlier this year, but this is the first time that Guerrilla has confirmed such plans for the machine hunting series. Job listings provided a little more context. The narrative designer for the online project is required to tell a deep, complex story, suggesting this is likely not just a match-based multiplayer game. The game writer is asked to pitch compelling ideas for quests, factions, and backstories, pointing to something that will be a game with at least similar narrative elements to those seen in the mainline series. Meanwhile, the lead combat designer for the project will be responsible for creating a variety of enemies, machines, and humanoids that focus on exciting combat with cooperative elements. Guerrilla notes in its Twitter post that it is continuing to create epic solo adventures for Aloy, so it can be assumed that a third mainline Horizon game is also planned, all coming from Matt Perslow over at IGN. So
assumed, I sure hope so. The way the second one ended, if we don't get a third one, I'm going to be outside of someone's office. Like, why
Where
have
is
you
it?
done this
Give me the script.
It
Will's
like
like
160 hours of this game in 2022.
He's gonna Thanos snap this game into existence. Yeah. So I have a lot of opinions about Horizon. I am so excited to play Forbidden West based on everything that I both seen William play and on everything that I know and hearing from everyone about it. I mean, just an excellent experience from top to bottom, from what I understand. So I'm really excited to dig into there. Please, no spoilers, anybody. But I don't know about this. This literally sounds like that Guerrilla is copying, pasting Factions 2 into the Horizon world. Doesn't sound like that to you at all? The fact that they're having storyline elements with cooperative multiplayer experiences?
Personally, I'm really hoping this is a Monster Hunter game.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's the assumption,
Monster
right?
Hunter does
you're going
have
against big monsters, but
right.
Yeah, but
Monster Hunter has a really good story, so
okay, so the only element that they're changing to this that's going to be different from Factions 2 is the fact that you're going to be hunting. It's going to be Monster Hunters
But I also don't think, because there's not that like survival
Horizon
element in
Monster
Hunter.
Said this is supposed to be more cooperative, right? It's not multiplayer like you're fighting against other humans, so it won't be like Factions. Factions very much like.
Are you not on teams in Factions? It's like, isn't it?
But that would still be PvP. I think this is going to be a PvE.
PvE. This feels like it's going to be more PvE, at least from what they've been explaining.
Yeah. I mean, machines and humanoids, definitely. I mean, the variety of enemies is what it sounds like. But I feel like it would be a missed opportunity if they were to leave out PvP altogether, right?
I personally hate PvP unless it's like a MOBA. I prefer PvE almost every time. People get really mean in multiplayer games.
They do. That's the sweaty. That's where all the gamer snake comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
as I'm assuming it'll play the butt chugging gamers. Those Mountain Dew
Mountain Dew butt chugging gamers. That's where they exist.
Like getting like a Baja Blast for a gaming night.
Oh,
that's a pretty good time.
And some Doritos.
Oh man, yeah.
Doritos Locos Tacos.
We copped some Code Red for the Game Awards, and this was a good time. This terrible person left it all at my house. He didn't buy a 2-liter like I expected him to. He bought a fucking 12-pack, and then now I'm sitting here with all this sugar in my fridge.
That's all.
Have you guys had? I don't remember what it's called, but the white Mountain Dew.
Oh, it's like
Voltage?
that shark one.
So good.
Is it Voltage or is that the other one?
I don't know, but it's the one that's like it's white out.
White out there.
White out. Okay.
That one's my favorite.
Ooh, let's try it. Let's try it.
I'd look forward to this. I would feel like a Horizon and Monster Hunter World would be a dope combination. And ultimately, I just feel like if it's going to play like Horizon and Forbidden West, that kind of gameplay doesn't really lend itself to a multiplayer like PvP setup. It'd be super annoying. People hopping around.
Well,
I think it'll probably do the same thing where there's like the hub world and then hunts.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
So, something that like I think that a lot of people have started to criticize Sony for is kind of the cookie cutter homogenization of their tentpole titles, whether it be Horizon, whether it be The Last of Us. I mean, there's a lot of valid criticism that exists there for, you know, all of these games. You know, you got the sad dad simulators that are just thrown around left and right, right? And I think that, you know, this will be different, and it will be very much in line with what Horizon is and what is expected to be. But I am concerned about, you know, I would like to see something more along the lines of a Ghost of Tsushima, you know, Ghost of Tsushima Legends style situation, obviously implementing like the large machine monsters, and you're going in and you're doing these quests, and it's all cooperative, but it might be based in elements. And then you have other aspects like raids where you're able to squad up with multiple people and maybe like an 8-person
So you're looking
match.
for
And you
like
have
an MMO.
No, not an MMO.
Because
so
that sounds like more like Final Fantasy to me, where Final Fantasy has, so there's dungeons, raids, and alliances.
So what I'm imagining in my mind is maybe if you take Destiny 2 and then you morph it with what Sucker Punch was able to do with Ghost of Tsushima Legends, and then put that together, and then you have that in the world of Horizon. That's where I think you could find some really unique gameplay, really you know, emergent gameplay that will allow, like, be really challenging for a lot of the sweaty gamers out there, like William, who wants to play out ultra insane hardcore difficulty mode. And then obviously, you know, have scaled down elements or different lobbies that you could load into that would, you know, be a little bit easier, a little bit more lenient on, you know, less skilled players. But yeah, I just hope that it isn't, you know, I just hope that it isn't going to be, you know, factions too, but in Horizon. That's all I have to say.
I'm just worried about it having a unique, stylized look.
Yeah, that's what I don't
Horizon
understand
is
what
gorgeous
they mean
right
by
now.
that.
So I don't know why they would switch it up. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful looking game.
Yeah, don't play
use
with
the Decima engine.
Yeah, just use. Do you think that they will?
I guess not. If they're going to do a unique stylized look, it's going to look like Borderlands or something. But I'm like, just use the Decima engine. Don't
imagine
give me
if it looks like Borderlands. I don't know if I would like that.
It'd just be so different. I
don't think it's going to look like Borderlands.
don't give me cell shaded Horizon Zero Dawn characters.
Yeah.
So. All right, let's do it. This next one's going to be a real fun raid.
So this is just a straight through PlayStation Plus game catalog lineup for December. So the extra and premium game catalogs are going to be as follows. You got WWE 2K22 for the PS4, Far Cry 5 for the PS4, Far Cry New Dawn for the PS4, and guess what? Far Cry Primal for the PS4. You got Mortal Shell for PS4 and PS5. You got, I'm guessing, Yakuza Judgment, or is it just straight up Judgment?
It's just Judgment.
Judgment for PS4 and PS5.
It's not Yakuza.
Then you got Yakuza Like a Dragon for the PS4, PS5. You have Yakuza 6, The Song of Life for PS4, Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor for PS4, and Middle Earth Shadow of War for PS4. A good combination there. The Pedestrian for PS4 and PS5. Evil Genius 2 for PS4 and PS5. Adventure Time Pirates of the Endicron.
Enchiridion.
There you go. That's a word for PS4. Ben 10 Power Trip, the classic, for PS4 and PS5. Gigantosaurus the Game for PS4. Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, Ultimate Edition. It's like they just shoved words together. PS4. Yep. Worms WMD, PS4. And The Escapist 2 for PS4. Now, under the premium/classic side, you're getting Ridge Racer 2 for the PSP. Getting Heavenly Sword, underrated game, for the PS3. Getting Oddworld, Apes Odyssey. Oh God, geez. Exodus. I almost said Odysseus. I was like, what is Odysseus? It's an Exodus for PS1. And then Pinball Heroes for the PSP. This is all coming from Adam Michael at PlayStation Blog.
You guys been playing any of these?
Absolutely not.
Well,
I think this is
I'm a sick man, so eventually I'm going to get around to Far Cry New Dawn, Far Cry Primal.
Well, are you paying for the catalog?
No, gosh.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I'm not gonna play on the catalog. I'm just gonna play eventually. I'm slugging my way through Far Cry 5 right now, so I'm eventually gonna get through the other
I
ones.
Thought you put like 40-50 hours in that game, dude. I thought I thought you would have been done. Did you not golden path it? Did you do a bunch of side stuff?
I'm getting distracted in side stuff. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a problem. That's how those Ubisoft games always do. You're like, I'm not paying attention to the other stuff. Oh, maybe just this one thing. Maybe
That's why
just
I can't
another
play
thing.
open world games because I keep being like,
Oh,
"Ooh, piece of candy! Ooh, piece of
hamburger
candy!
ran over there.
Ooh,
I gotta
piece of
go take
candy!"
care of hamburger. Yeah.
Don't talk down on Hamburger. That's
No,
the
I
boy.
love my boy. I love the
Cheeseburger.
boy.
Cheeseburger's the homie.
Cheeseburger. That's his name.
Don't talk about my bear
Cheeseburger.
like that. But I don't know anyone else because I guess neither of you have the extra or the.
I have
premium game
extra.
catalog?
The
Okay,
only one that I know of that has premium is Sam.
Gotcha. Oh man, out here.
Yeah,
This man's out here just
Sam regretted
racked
it.
up.
He is in it. He is deep in that PlayStation culture. I personally now, Brianna, I will let you be the true judge because you are the one that's paying for the extra service right now. But I personally think that this list is incredibly lackluster in terms of what they're bringing. And
Dun, dun, dun.
I think that, for the money that you're paying, over the course of time, yeah, you can get a lot of hours of gaming done with all these games. All of those Yakuza games and Judgment, all of those are fantastic video games, 100% fantastic. Outside of those, I've never really been a Far Cry guy, so and that's just a me thing. Some people love those games, and that's totally fine. And there's a lot of merit to be had in those games. Will has talked about it multiple times on FNG that Far Cry 5 is a fun experience, but it's just more Far Cry, right? It's not it's not breaking that formula.
I think that the problem with the catalog right now is that they waited so long to do this kind of thing that they're now just having to build the catalog from scratch, basically.
They should have come out with all of this in it.
Right,
At the jump.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is that because they're currently building this, I'm not into Far Cry, but I know there's a lot of people that are going to be super excited about Far Cry 5, New Dawn, and Primal. Like, those are all solid games that somebody loves, right? Not
Sure.
me, but I know for sure somebody loves. Same with like all of the Yakuza stuff that they've been adding. I know that there's really passionate fans about Yakuza, Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor. I loved. I have not played Shadow of War. But I know those games are also pretty popular. For me personally, I'm going to be trying out Mortal Shell. I love Dark Souls games, and this is supposed to be another Souls-like. And then I'm also going to be checking out The Pedestrian. I have always wanted to play this game. It was, I think, at E3 one year, and it was on my list forever, and I completely forgot about it, to be honest with you. So this will be a really great chance for me to finally try that game out. So those are the only two that I'm going to be picking up from this list. But at the same time, like there's something for everybody here, I think, or not for everybody, but I think that they're working on that catalog because like
Sure.
there's a month that I'm like, holy cow, I'm so excited about literally every single thing. And then there's months that I'm like, I could probably miss on all of these, but I know somebody's excited. So
yeah, I mean, there is enough here to get excited going down through number 10, but you look at 11 through 13, I haven't heard of any of those games before the show right now. I mean, besides maybe Evil Genius 2, with that being an exception. So when we talk about like the value, that's completely Big Ten. Ben 10 was that was my boy back in the day. I love me some Ben 10 stuff. Don't get me wrong, he is the homie. I just thinking, Judgment, it hasn't been on Xbox Game Pass, but all of the Yakuza games through Like a Dragon have been sitting on Xbox Game Pass for forever. WWE 2K made a huge splash when it came out. Everybody was super happy that it came out bug-free mostly, and it performed really well, and it had a really great character creation thing. You could do some, facial modification stuff. I think WWE 2K is a win for people who are through and through wrestling game fans. I love that for them. But when we talk about Sony, like me personally wanting Sony to be really aggressive about combating, what the value of Xbox Game Pass is and bringing that over to the PlayStation Plus catalog, like
the thing
they have to really bring some winners here. Like they should be bringing in High on Life. They should bring in things that aren't Xbox exclusive.
Right. And I definitely agree with that. But the thing is that I don't think that I think that they're trying to avoid being a competitor like directly with Game Pass. Like, because the thing is that Game Pass's thing is like, you get this brand new game day one. Like, that's always Game Pass's thing now, right? Where it's like, you get all these brand new games. And I think that PlayStation is trying to avoid that. My guess would be that it's just not a great thing for them monetarily. And they're not willing to eat that cost because they don't have those expectations. That would be my guess. So if they're not trying to compete in that space, and they're just trying to do their own thing, then I think this is fine. I definitely agree with you. personally, I think that they should be going the Game Pass route where they're like, you know what, Hogwarts Legacy is going to be free for PlayStation day
and
one.
date. Yeah.
Like, you know, like that would be insane, right? That would be such a great value, but they're not doing that. So PlayStation Plus isn't for a lot of people, unfortunately. If you are brand new to PlayStation and you're trying to get a bunch of those first party games, I think it's really worth it for a couple of months. You can kind of get through a lot of those first, like those like early catalog, like you get, I think like Last of Us, you can get like Returnal, Spider-Man. There's a bunch of games you can get. And then once you get through that catalog, unless you're a diehard PlayStation fan, I think you can probably dip out. But.
And just to be clear for our listeners out there, they're bringing all these games onto the catalog and they're not phasing anything out from the catalog that I'm aware of, correct? Okay. Yes.
So
it's gonna happen eventually.
Catalog,
like they can't just keep it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's like the two different kinds of games. There's the games that they release every month that you get to keep forever. And then there's the games that like if it leaves the catalog, you can't play.
Right.
I was very confused on this a couple episodes back.
Yeah, and they leave a lot of that in the gray area on purpose. The one thing that I'm interested in, and William, you're my retro guy. You're my PS1 gamer. I didn't have a PlayStation. I was, the N64 kid. Do any of these titles, Ridge Racer 2, Pinball Heroes, do they pop out to you? Do you think this adds value to the premium tier?
Well, no. The main thing with the PlayStation tier list, especially, is that the premium tier is really pathetic. It's depressing, especially with how
the premium is not worth it at all. Period. At the end,
at all.
Like unless there's something that is like I want to play this so bad. Unless you're like an insane fan of one of these games, I promise you the premium is not worth it. And we've been consistent on that. Like the premium has not been worth it. Period. They haven't sold it. The extra I think is worth it. The classic I don't think is worth it either because the classic doesn't have enough. So like that middle tier is pretty much the only one that's like worth the time and money. So
because it's still where you have to stream the PS3 titles too, right? You can't download them and play them.
It depends. I think on your I could be wrong. It's really messy. It's really messy. I'm sorry.
Stream it. I'm like, it's gross. But Heavenly Sword, it's a fun game.
But yeah.
But no, definitely not worth it though.
Ugh.
Yeah, I will see. I will say that there is enough good stuff on the catalog that I will probably do my best to like reach for things, like pay for it for like a month or two to like mainline one of those games like Death Stranding that are existing on that catalog. That way I don't have to it's a cheaper value for me to just pay for a couple of months versus buying that game for the $70 or $60 that is going to be on the PlayStation Store. So it's not to be said that like there isn't going to be a value add from the current existing catalog that they will continue to roll out. They will continue to build out. It's just it is a little dismaying that they don't have partnerships in place to already like get people locked in, to get them excited about what's coming. Because every time I get on Twitter and I see Xbox Game Pass posting about the current lineup, I mean, you pull it up right now, you're seeing all of those Persona games just sitting there, and I'm just like, that's hella exciting because I never got to play P3 or Persona 4 Golden. The fact that I get that value add from Atlas, a studio that I would never have thought would be able to partner with Microsoft, I just think that there's a lot of good things there. But I think when you start going down that road, exactly like you were saying, Brianna, about the PlayStation's philosophy about not wanting to be a competitor, it's like they're trying to be Nintendo, but the problem is that Sony cannot afford to be Nintendo. They do not have I mean, they have a lot of incredible IP. They have a lot of powerhouses in gaming, but they don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the base that Nintendo has in order to get away with what Nintendo gets away with. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and I think that like PlayStation is. I think that they do want to be a competitor with Xbox in almost every other aspect. I think it's just like the passes, like the pass versus like plus. Like I think that this specifically, they're trying to avoid being a competitor or being compared because they know that like Game Pass is just has way more value.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'd like to really, really be interested to look down the road 3 years from now and see where PlayStation Plus catalog, because we were having a lot of these same conversations about Xbox during the Xbox One era, and people were big mad about everything that was going on until we got into the Series XS generation, and then the story flipped. So we'll see what time will tell at the end of the day.
It goes back to whoever's winning is making the bad decisions. It
Every time.
always
Yep.
happens. It
Every
always
time.
happens because as soon as Xbox realized that they were now starting to lose, all of a sudden they were like, well, maybe you don't have to pay for online services, and maybe we can give you all these free games, and maybe we'll play nice. And now
Yeah.
PlayStation's winning, quote unquote winning, and they're kind of making jerk
Goofball.
decisions.
Complete
Goofball
goofball
decisions.
decisions.
Absolutely
Definitely.
goofball behavior, like Will
So
likes to
we'll
say.
see.
Mm-hmm.
If we have another flip where Xbox is on top again, I guarantee all of this stuff will start being added.
100%.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see. Okay, let's hit this next one. It says, coming from Forbes, which is another new place. Forbes, Paul Tassi. The Game Awards continues to destroy the Oscars with record 103 million viewers in 2022. The Game Awards have quietly become the single most watched award ceremony in the world over the past few years. While yes, part of this is global interest in video games and the work creator and host Jeff Keighley has put into cultivating the show's presence, reputation, and importance. It's also about how it's been embraced by modern technology, or how it embraces modern technology in a way other more traditional award shows have simply failed to match. This week, it has been announced that the Game Awards has shattered all of its previous viewership with a record 103 million viewers across YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Steam,
That
Facebook,
Steam
TikTok
viewership.
Live,
Let's go.
and Instagram Live. That's up 20% from last year and includes the 1.9 million peak concurrent viewers on Twitch alone.
It's huge.
Also up 20% over 2021. The viewership growth of the Game Awards has been astonishing over the past decade, as evidence laid in the previous numbers. So in 2014, I won't go over all of these. There's a full list if you want to look it up. But we start in 2014, 1.9 million. 2019 made it to 45 million, and now we're at 103 million for
Huge
2022.
exponential increase.
Yeah, no kidding. This year's big success story elsewhere in entertainment was the Oscars getting 16.6 million viewers.
Get shit on.
In
Fuck the
2022,
Oscars.
yeah.
Joseph Paris. Let's go.
Up a from the disastrous 10.5 million in 2021. But this, of course, is exclusive to network TV, drastically limiting the overall reach the show can have just because you can't stream it, which is a dumb decision directly on them.
Was the 2021 Oscars the Will Smith thing
That was
happened?
2022.
22?
That was 2022. Oh my god.
Really? Holy shit. I don't even remember.
Time.
God. It's crazy.
Time. Yeah. So while there's no direct way to compare the revenue, the TV ads for the Oscars are still likely to bring in more money than the Twitch inserts for the Game Awards. But Keighley's show also does big brand deals with sponsors and serves a dual purpose as a launch pad for world premiere trailers and footage for upcoming games. I only wanted to cover this because I just wanted to shit on the Oscars. So
Every time.
I support it every time.
That was the whole point of this.
Yep,
I
it's
just
like-
they were like, honestly, they were like, we're so excited about 16.6 million viewers. And
Yeah.
there's 103.
You know, it's so funny. Shout out to the guys, Jonathan and Dan and Nate over at the Elder Scrolls podcast. Cause I was going up to Asheville, North Carolina this weekend, and I was listening to them, and they were talking about, the Game Awards, and they were talking about, why the fuck was Al Pacino at the Game Awards? He's getting up on the stairs and be like, where am I? Like, I don't understand. It was just like, I was crying in the car for like a solid 10 minutes straight, just from them just completely dunking on, all of Jeff Keighley's choices and presenters and awards people. I mean, he's got some really good, old school classic gaming folks that are in there too, but it's funny kind of where it exists today.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff Keighley. Definitely shout out to him for making, that huge spectacle of Game Awards. It's a grand thing to be a part of now. But I gotta say, the only reason they had so many people watching, because there were 90 million people all trying to get a Steam Deck. Everyone was watching it on Steam.
I thought they were all watching for the Rabbi Bill Clinton.
Oh,
yes.
Well, yeah, they're that too. That too. Yeah, no, Steam. They were offering a Steam Deck for every minute that the award show was live, and so when Christopher Judge got on there for 20 minutes, like everybody was popping up. Keep going, Chris. Keep going. I'm trying to get the Steam Deck. Let's do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's funny. Okay, let's go ahead and just hit this last one. This one's just like a quick highlights of 2023.
Yeah, exciting. I get to wrap us up with the last story of the day. So PlayStation in 2023 highlights. This coming year is huge for PlayStation, stacked with a lineup of exciting releases. Whether you've been looking forward to the release of the ultra customizable DualSense Edge controller, I have been. Virtual reality adventures with PlayStation VR 2, fantastical new IPs like Forspoken, or sequels to iconic titles like Marvel's Spider-Man 2, this year has something for you. While there's a ton coming to PlayStation in 2023, this article aims to highlight a handful of the biggest things announced for 2023. Marvel Spider-Man 2, Insomniac Games has confirmed the release window for their next game. Woo woo! Spider-Man 2 launches on PS5 fall 2023. So it's right around the corner. We're going to blink and it's going to be October.
Right around the corner.
We're going to blink and we're going to be playing as Miles and Peter Parker all at the same time. It's going to be great. And what a year it's been for PlayStation Studios. Here at Insomniac Games, we've been in absolute awe of the work of our peers. Congrats to everyone on a successful 2022, and here's to the next year being just as exciting as we continue to get Marvel Spider-Man 2 ready for release, coming from Brian Intihar, the creative director over at Insomniac Games. Forspoken is coming in January 24th, 2023. We're all excited for that. The DualSense Edge wireless controller for all us sweaty gamers is coming on January 26th, 2023. You can spend a grip at $250 for that. Hogwarts Legacy is coming February 10th, 2023 for PS5 and April 4th, 2023 for PS4. Yeah, it got delayed, didn't it?
It got delayed for Switch and for the last
and the Series X. Yeah, yeah, you gotta love it. PSVR 2 is coming February 22nd, 2023. Destiny 2 Lightfall is coming February 28th. I guess that's the new expansion that's coming to Destiny. Shout out to all y'all players out there. Resident Evil 4 is coming March 24th, 2023. We're so excited for that. We had an incredible review on RE4. And then Final Fantasy 16 is coming in Q2, Q3 of 2023. So that's going to be really exciting for all you Final Fantasy stands out there. And this is all D'Angelo Epps at the PlayStation blog.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Exciting things coming this year. I just thought this was a fun little highlight. We're leaving 2022 behind and heading into 2023, which will be another fantastic year of gaming. I remember at the beginning of this year, I was like, this year is insane. We're getting Ragnarok. Like, that's going to be crazy. I was excited about Callisto Protocol at the time.
Do you now here's a question. Here's a question. Now, this is a scary question to ask you guys, and I know we're getting ready to wrap up here, but like, are you at all fearful that any of the titles on this list are going to get pushed?
No, but they might. I mean, that's just video games.
The only one I think will get pushed is Final Fantasy 16.
That's what
we're too close to the rest of them for them to get pushed, in my opinion.
True.
I mean, I guess Resident Evil 4 could get pushed.
I
but
feel
they
like
already have
RE4
the
is done.
engine.
Yeah, I feel like RE4 has definitely been done for a minute.
Oh,
yeah.
So yeah, I think Final Fantasy 16 has the chance that it might get delayed, but since there's not even a release date yet, it just says Q2 or 3. It'll definitely be Q3. Don't let them fool you with the Q2. It'll definitely be Q3. Probably towards the later half of Q3.
I would expect maybe holiday season potentially for after Black Friday if it comes out in 2023. I also think that it's not beyond reasonable doubt that Spider-Man could get pushed.
No,
I hate to say that.
I don't think it will.
They have nothing
it
else
doesn't have a date. So if we don't have a date, we just don't know yet.
But what's the fall hit for Sony? They need a big fall anchor.
I mean, that's the real question. That's the real question, right? Like, do they have anything besides this? And I mean, that's one of the potentially exciting things about 2023 is that maybe Sony has something down in the pipeline that we just don't know about that could be, a stand-in for Spider-Man 2.
I'm still waiting for them, not necessarily just PlayStation, but like really anybody to just like, nobody knew it was happening. They just like day of E3, they're like, Last of Us Part 3 is out today. Like, how crazy would that be?
I want
fucking incredible.
I know.
That'd be incredible.
Because nobody does it because they're like, we have to build the hype in order to get the sales. I'm telling you, the first person that does that, it's a AAA game that everybody's been waiting for, but nobody knows when it's going to hit. Like Metroid Prime 4. Like, they're like, it is out today. I'm telling you, that would be the craziest moment ever.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for that to happen. Maybe they'll do that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm waiting. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm excited for the next PlayStation showcase where they're going to be like, here's even more of the lineup that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
I really want to
State of
see
play.
more. I know that it may not be exclusive to Sony, but I really want to see more of that Soulsborne game, Lies of P. I'm really excited about that title. That's one of the ones
Is
that have
that
been
how you
sitting on my
say it? I
radar.
didn't know how to say it. I'll be on. Oh wait, you know it is P. It's
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
just the
Lies
letter
of
P.
Just the letter
Mhm.
P. Yeah.
I
Yep.
remember. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That looks really interesting. It's supposed to be like Pinocchio retelling.
But
That's
Bloodborne.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's Pinocchio Dark
It's
Souls.
right up your alley.
Pinocchio.
But Bloodborne.
You know,
Give me the
Pinocchio's having a
Gothic
moment right now.
architecture.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Pinocchio's having a moment. You got
coming
Pauly
back
Shore,
to
Pinocchio.
pop culture.
I saw a thing on Twitter where like somebody posted all of the Pinocchios and was like, "Let them fight."
Yeah.
Imagine, like all of them together.
Oh
That'd be
my
incredible.
god.
Yeah.
And I'm excited though. I think next year is going to be great. Especially I saw
Yeah.
Blue Point did a holiday post on Twitter, and it had all of the games that they worked on. They had the Demon Souls remake. They were a support team for God of War, so they had the
Secret.
God of War X, and then they had the sword from Shadows of the Colossus. But then there
Yep.
was another
Ooh.
box that was just sitting there, and it was
It's a
just
secret
a
Blue
normal
Point,
brown
yeah.
box with a little red bow on it. So I was like,
Mhm.
could be the Metal Gear Solid remake from Blue Point.
I need Dark
Could
Souls
be.
remake. I need remake of the Dark Souls remake.
You really didn't like the Dark Souls remaster?
No, I
You weren't
do.
a fan of that? Oh, okay.
I
But
just
you
want.
want a
I just
remake
want.
of the
I just.
remake?
You just want the remake.
Demon
Yeah.
Souls is so beautiful. Demon Souls
Gorgeous.
is so beautiful.
You know,
and I
I've
just
been
want to look
listening
at
to
Dark Souls
people
that
talking
way.
about Demon Souls, and they say it's the easiest Soulsborne
It is.
experience. Would you agree? Okay.
I absolutely would
Easier
agree.
than
Well,
Elden Ring?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's
say
what I've heard.
it's.
Way easier.
I'm gonna say it's not easy. It is still a Souls game. However, compared to the other ones, it is way easier. It has some. They basically adapted because what made the game so difficult before was it had kind of like janky controls and mechanics because it was so old.
Yeah.
So because when they updated that and they stayed true to the spirit of the game and they didn't change really anything. They just like updated it so it was like modern. In them doing that, it made the game like slightly easier. So yeah, so I definitely agree that it's like one of the easiest games. The worst part is probably the boss runs. Like they don't have a lot of great places for saves.
Yeah.
So you have to
Lessons.
run through 10,000 enemies just to get to the boss. I get
It's a
really
baby
angry about
Luna
it.
sighting.
Yeah,
Hello,
I hate
Luna.
that.
Yeah. You can barely see her, but she is there.
Yeah.
Just a little tail.
She's cute. So yeah, I definitely recommend Demon Souls. It's gorgeous. It's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah. 100%. Good deal.
Okay. Next year's gonna be great. You know what? We'll just cover this last one. What was your favorite? We're in Limitless now. Just for a brief second. What was
Okay.
your PlayStation game of the year? I'm assuming everybody's gonna say Ragnarok, but I'm
Yeah,
just
everyone's gonna say Ragnarok. It's definitely for me Ragnarok.
I'm gonna zag and say Sifu.
Okay.
Favorite PlayStation game? Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, that's fair. I appreciate the
Even though my game of the year is Ragnarok.
I'm gonna appreciate the commitment to being different.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be a
definitely
contrarian, and
We're
I'm gonna say
special.
Sifu.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah, if we have to pick something else, I'm gonna say Stray.
Oh, Stray.
Oh,
was
I
I
played
love
that.
that
I
game.
know it wasn't
love Stray.
exclusive on PlayStation, but man, what a game.
Yeah.
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 What a game.
Fantastic.
Okay, we will leave you guys there. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. You can find us again at youtube.com/SaveTheGameMedia, patreon.com/SaveTheGameMedia, Twitter, !SaveGameMedia. Rest in
Question?
peace.
Elon.
Yeah.
Oh
What
my
is
God.
going on?
The stuff today.
I have to
has
remove our
everybody,
link tree.
like,
What the fuck?
Yeah.
You guys
Says
use
no more
link
link
tree?
trees.
Jesus, pizza.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, come hang out with us. Come hang out with us in the Discord. That's the best place to come hang out.
Yeah. I love Discord.
Where can people find you?
So if you want to find the Friday Night Gamecast, you can currently find us on Twitter over at Friday Night Gamers, and that's spelled NITEGAMRZ. I primarily run our Twitter account. And if you want to find us over on Instagram, which is currently still up and running, we are just the Friday Night Gamecast over there. And we follow Save the Game Media, so it's very easy to go find us over there. You know, currently right now, our link tree is in our bio, and you can find us on all those places while it's still up there. I'll leave it up for a few more days, and hopefully Elon won't dox me. But you know, that's where you can find us right now. I'm Nikolai at Night personally over on Twitter. How about you, Will?
I'm King Zozotai, KingZosotai.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's why I keep saying I'm like, I gotta future proof this. Rest in peace, Twitter.
I hate to see it. I hate to see it.
I mean, I kind of like to see it because I kind of want to see where we go with social media next.
I mean, it'd be interesting.
You know?
Something new will emerge from
exodus?
Yeah,
something new will emerge
Mastodon
for sure.
And what's the other one? I'll keep wanting to say
Hive.
Hinge, but it's not
Hive.
Hinge. It's
Yeah.
Hive.
Very close.
Everyone go
Very
hit us up on
close.
Hinge.
Hey, everybody go to Hinge. You can find me at Hinge. No. No, you can find me at Fabulist Brianna on almost everywhere. So
The Fabulist.
Thank you. In both meanings of the word.
There you go.
I hope you guys have a wonderful week and holiday season. I will see you next. This is my favorite. I'll see you guys next year.
See y'all next year.
Happy holidays.
My favorite joke. Woo!